All right, guys, we're gonna go over how to use the RV. First of all, your propane tanks are located right underneath this. To access them, all you do is you lift this right off, and then there are two tanks there. There's an arrow that points towards one tank or the other. Just make sure you open one of the tanks and make sure that arrow is pointed towards that tank. If that tank runs out, you'll close that tank, switch that arrow to the other side, then go ahead and open up the other one, and it'll continue to use the propane through the other tank. You have your electric jack right here, which is really nice, and hopefully you never need it, but the battery is located right behind the propane tank over here. As we come around, this is a large storage area in here. It's nice for putting your gear in there, the water hose, sewer hose, all that stuff. That's a good spot. It should be in there. And then you do have electric stabilizers. Just make sure there's an extend and a retract button. Just make sure they come down. They don't come down together. They come down like one side at a time, and then the other one will come down. So make sure when you're putting them up, you actually physically look underneath the RV, make sure they're both up, because they'll come down, one will come up and then the other one will start, vice versa, it'll come down and then the other one comes down. So just make sure they're up out of the way. There is a large awning on this guy. It's an electric awning. You just hit the button inside, it's gonna come out. Just remember, if it's windy, rainy, stormy, anything like that at all, you close this guy up, especially like if there's a storm coming or planned, make sure you have it closed. They take a minute to close, so and they don't auto close, so you need to manually close it with the button. And then also, we just recommend, if you're not sitting underneath it, just have it closed. That's usually the easiest way. And then also, don't go to bed with it out at night, because you could wake up halfway through the night, you could hear some stuff going on outside and the wind has ripped it off or something like that. So just close it up before you go to bed. As you come around, stairs are really easy. You're just gonna lift and pull. They just come out just like this. You'll lift them up, and then it folds out like this, and you're good to go. The handle, you just lift and turn just like this, so you have some easy access there. And then also, when you're done, you'll just refold these up just like this. You'll lift and slide it back into place. And then we recommend when you travel, you close this guy just like this so the door doesn't pop open on you. There are a few electrical outlets right here. Just remember, if you're not plugged in at the park or running a generator, these outlets will not work on the inside or on the outside here. You have your rear stabilizer, same thing as the front. One will come down, then the other one. Just make sure you get them completely up out of the way. Now as we go over here, this is how the hatch works. You just push this in, you'll lift these up, spin it out just like this, and then do the same thing on the other side, and then you can lay this down. There's a large spring that kind of helps with the weight, and then when you're done, you close it back up, latch it in, lock it down, and then you can use the keys to lock the back area here. As you come around, you're gonna have a couple things. There's a fueling station here. We always recommend just put premium fuel in there. And then you have a large slide out right here. They come out about 3.5 to 4 feet. So make sure you don't park like right next to a tree or something like that. You don't want to slide this out into the tree. And then also when you close it, look above it. Make sure there's no tree branches caught up in there so you don't smash any of those in there. Basically, we tell you 15 feet away from trees on every side. You might think you're not close to a tree, but a big branch is hanging over and you could snag something and all that, so just be careful. You have your power cord here. This is for like plugging in at the RV park or an external generator. You just plug it in here. The cord will plug in at the park or into the generator. It's a 30 amp cord. You have your water station here. This is where you're gonna fill up your water tank. You would just unscrew the cap here, put a garden hose in here and fill it up. If for some reason you overfill the tank, if you look under the RV and you see some water dripping out and there's water on the ground, usually that means you've overfilled the tank and there's a release valve on top of the tank. So it will begin to drip out. It usually takes about an hour or two for that to completely stabilize. So just be aware of that. Don't overfill it. There's also a pull lever. It's a white handle under there you could pull. It'll drop some of the fresh water. You have your city water. You could plug in at an RV park or something, but we don't really recommend that. We recommend you just fill your tank. That way, because if you're plugged into the city park and you go on a hike and say there's too much water pressure and you get a leak inside, you're gonna come back to a flooded trailer. So we always recommend you just use the water tank. When you're using it, turn the pump on. When you're done, turn the pump off. Makes life simple, and you don't have any serious major accidents or anything with water. There's an exterior shower in case you need that. And then this guy right here is actually a flush for the black water tank. So underneath here, you have a gray and a black tank. The black lever for dumping is right there. And then you have a gray level, which is like the shower water, sink water. So what you do to dump, you're gonna hook on here with the sewer hose. You'll pull the black one first. Make sure that's open and you can run some water through it to help clean it out. Don't ever keep that closed and put water in there. You wouldn't want it to backfill, obviously, into the RV. That would not be good. So make sure anytime you're running water through here, the valve is open. And then once you're done with that, you would turn off this water, close that guy, and then you can pull the gray water handle and it'll kind of flush out the sewer hose. There's a nice little light here for dumping. If you're dumping in the evening or something, you can have a little bit of light. And then just be aware there's an exhaust here. This can get extremely hot. You don't want to burn yourself or anything on that. So let's head on in and we'll show you how to use things in there. All right, guys, we're going to go on the inside of this RV and show you how to use it. First of all, the control panel is right here. This has everything you need in it almost. You have your slide out room control here. You have the bed lift control. You have an interior lighting switch. You have your max air fan control. You have your tank levels, your battery levels, the awning button, and then all your lighting inside and out. And then you have your hot water heater. One's electric, one's gas. So perfect. As we come around, there is a stereo. It's got inside outside speakers, a large TV right here on a swivel. Just make sure, like when you're pulling in your toys, like if you have a big side by side, you don't catch this with a big tire or something. And also the fire extinguisher there, don't over drive in and knock out your fire extinguisher. As we come around here, you do have a bed lift here. So the top bed is in the up position right now because we want to go over these the sofa sleeping area. So there's a couple little tricks. This folds into a bed, but there's a multi-step process. And first of all, I like to operate it in the couch position first. This actually slides this way, so the beds, so this will make a bed, but it needs to come together. So there's kind of like little hooks under there. So the easiest way I've learned to do it is grab with both hands when it's in the sofa position, like this, and kind of lift and wiggle, and it slides out. And then it'll lock in, and then do the same thing on this side. You're gonna kind of lift, wiggle, slide it out, and then once it's in this configuration here, it's just gonna jackknife. You lift this part up just like this, and then it'll lay down just like that, and then the other one will do the same. It'll make a nice sleeping area. Just remember, it needs to be in this configuration when you raise it up. Otherwise, the back of the couch here will rip off the shades. So make sure these are in before you put it up to load your toys, okay? Pretty simple. This guy can also fold up. Underneath it, there is a panel, so when it's folded up, if you drive your side-by-side in, you can actually step out without stepping onto the couch. Just remember to put the panel down once you've loaded it all up and put the slide out, okay? As we come around, a couple things here. You have a nice microwave and air conditioning system and all that. Just remember, any major appliance, microwave, air conditioner, all that stuff, you must be running a generator or plugged in at the RV park. You have a stove top here. Just remember, this is not a glass cooktop. You fold this up and out of the way. It now becomes your backsplash. And then you can cook here. When you're done, make sure it's cooled down before you drop the glass. You do not want to light these and then think it's a glass cooktop. This will shatter completely. So make sure, I know I'm saying it for a reason. It's happened. So just remember, put the glass out of the way. Pretty simple. You have your sink area, and now we're going to go over the fridge operation and freezer. So to operate this, well, before I even get into that, these handles can be pretty sensitive. And they are, of course, patented. So make sure that you don't have like a teenager yanking on them or something. They just kind of push over and then lift out. Unfortunately, since they're patented, they're about $50 a door handle, and they do tend to break. So just be careful with that. As we come around here, to start the fridge, you're going to turn your propane on. And then we always recommend you light the stovetop for a couple minutes just to make sure all the gas is flowing good, and then turn your stovetop off. And then if you're dry camping, you're going to have the gas button in the out position, and then you would just hit the on button. These take about 5 to 6 hours to get cold. They freeze the freezer first, then use the cold air to freeze from the freezer to freeze the fridge, or to get the fridge cold, sorry. Also, we recommend you start this, let it run for about 4 or 5 minutes, then actually just turn it off. Wait 1 minute, turn it back on, it'll reset and relight. We've just learned that if there's any air bubbles in the system or anything, restarting it a few minutes after you've started it makes a world of difference. Make sure, like I said, they take 5 to 6 hours to get cold. Start it the night before you leave. Or you can always throw a bag of ice in there. It'll chill it a little quicker. And then inside the fridge here in the top right corner, there's a slider to control the temperature of the fridge. If the fridge isn't getting cold, check that slider. Make sure it didn't fall down or something like that. But also remember, the fridge won't even begin to get cold until the freezer is completely frozen. All right, so we're going to head back. I'm going to send you this way. We're going to talk about a few things. Right here on the ground is a breaker panel and a fuse box. If something's not working, we always recommend you check the GFI outlets and the breaker box there. Right here in the bathroom, it has a foot flush, so you would flush it there. Just make sure you have enough water. It'll go right down like an airplane, but you want to make sure you're adding water into the system when you flush. So we recommend you flush for about 5 to 10 seconds. That'll add enough so you don't get any clogs in your tanks. And then on the left, here's your air conditioning control. You have your air conditioning control and your heater controls. Just works like a normal thermostat. You do have a solar charging system here, and it'll just tell you the current battery wattage, which is nice. You have a couple outlets around your bed in the bedroom, which is nice. You have a couple USB outlets for charging, and it makes it really nice. Nice bedroom. And that's about it. And this is a very, very popular toy hauler. You're going to love it. It's probably the most popular toy hauler. So we're excited to have you. We'll see you soon.